Howdy y'all, and welcome back to another episode of SmoothBrainEDH, where we make the smoothest plays with the biggest brains. This week, we're joined by Sam and Aaron of Holding Priority for some cEDH, so let's see what everyone's playing. First up is Sam on Sisay, Weatherlight Captain. This deck is aiming to cast Sisay and have Sisay use her activated ability to chain together legendary permanents to create infinite combos. Next up is Aaron playing Storm, Force of Nature. This deck wants to use Storm to generate a low storm count and then assemble creature-based combos off tutors like Neoform. Our third player today is Jason on Plagon, Lord of the Beach. This is a control deck that relies on Plagon to generate card advantage with flicker effects before assembling flicker-based combos to end the game. Up last is Seth playing Najeela, the Blade Blossom. This Najeela build is an ad nauseum storm deck that can threaten a fair creature beats game or use 2-card combos with the commander to win the game. We're about to get into the game, but before that, go ahead and like and let us know down in the comments which deck you want to win. Links to our socials, deck lists, and public Discord are in the description down below. Our channel is partnered with Dragon Shield, so if you want to pick up any new sleeves or magic-related product, check out the affiliate link down in the description below. Make sure to use the code SMOOTH5 at checkout for 5% off your entire order. Now, on to the gameplay.
Hey, thanks for having us on. I'm Aaron, aka Cardboard Cryptid.
And I'm Sam, the Gaming Ghost.
Together, we are Holding Priority. We host a long-form bi-weekly podcast all about cEDH.
From deck techs to set reviews and our personal experience in big tournaments, you'll find hours of content there.
If that piques your interest, find us here on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform by searching Holding Priority Podcast or finding us in the pinned comment below.
Alright, and it looks like Sam wins the die roll. He'll start off with a Misty Rainforest. It's cracked for an Underground Sea, which is used to cast a Mystic Remora. We'll then see a Lotus Petal cast, and then the turn passed. Aaron starts off with a Bloodstained Mire, and he'll fetch for a Volcanic Island. He'll then cast a Soul Ring, for not paid, and then pass to Jason. Jason starts off with a Mistgate Pathway, and then he'll cast his Soul Ring, for not paid, and then it's tapped for a Soulless Jailer, and then the turn is passed. Seth starts off with a Tundra, and he'll tap it to cast an Esper Sentinel, and then pass to Sam. Fish is paid for, and then Lotus Petal is cracked for a Deathrite Shaman. The turn is then passed to Aaron, and he'll start off with a Windswept Teeth and crack it for a Taiga. He'll then cast a Talisman of Curiosity, not paying 4 or 1, and then he'll tap for 3 and cast a Spellseeker. Its ETB trigger will tutor a Gitaxian Probe to his hand. Then the turn is passed to Jason, and he'll start off with his Rhystic Study, not paying 4 or 1. Okay, there's a lot of taxes at the table now, and I'm lazy. So from now on, I'm just going to let you guys know when taxes are paid for. After this, Jason will play a Command Tower and then cast a Graph Digger's Cage and then pass to Seth. Alright, well things are just not coming out of Graveyard, Library, or Exile this game, are they? Alright, now Seth starts off with his Marsh Flats and he'll fetch for a Badlands with it. Then he'll just pass the turn. On upkeep, Sam has a Fish trigger, and in response to it, he will cast a Vampiric Tutor. It resolves, so card is tutored, life is lost, and then the fish will die. He'll then play a Gaia's Cradle as land for turn. Then the Deathrite Shaman is activated, exiling Seth's Marsh Flats to float a green, and then he'll cast Ignoble Hierarch. Gaia's Cradle is then tapped for 2 green, and one of it is used to cast Birds of Paradise, and the other one is used to pay for Rhystic Study. Then the turn is passed. Aaron starts off with a Mox Opal, both ones are paid, and then he'll tap for 4 and cast Storm, Force of Nature. The turn is passed, and Jason starts off with Giver of Runes, then he'll cast Plagon. Priority goes around the table, and since Jason has no mana open, Aaron decides to daze Plagon, bouncing Volcanic Island to his hand. So Plagon is countered. After this, Jason will bolt himself with a Witch Bless Meadow, and then the turn is passed to Seth, who starts off with a Flooded Strand, and of course he'll immediately fetch with it, and this gets an Underground Sea. He'll then cast a Felwar Stone, and then he'll pass the turn. Sam starts off with an Otawara as land for turn, and then he'll just pass the turn. Aaron will play a Mana Vault, and he pays for Rhystic Study, but not Esper Sentinel. After this, he'll tap his Talisman to cast Gitaxian Probe, and then he'll tap his Mana Vault for 3 to pay 1 for Rhystic Study. The target is Sam, and Sam considers casting some things before it resolves, but then decides not to. Aaron says he's essentially going to share all the information he gets anyways, so Sam just reveals his hand.
I've got Fire Covenant, Archivist of Ogma, Court of Calling, Dynahir, Mindbreak Trap, and an Urtai.
Dang, Mindbreak Trap is brutal for Storm. Anyways, after this, Aaron will play a Valk. Then he casts a Harrier Strix and does pay the 1. It resolves, so ETB trigger taps Seth's Tundra, and Seth will respond to this by tapping it for a white. Then 3 mana is put into the Strix to draw and discard. And discarded card is Expedite. Aaron then attempts to move to combat, but before his mana goes away, Seth will tap for an additional green to cast an Eladamri's Call. Sam's the only one with a response. He'll start by activating his Deathrite Shaman to exile Aaron's Windswept Teeth to float a white, and then he'll tap for an additional one to flash in Archivist of Ogma, and he does pay the 1, and then Seth's tutor resolves. This finds him Ranger Captain of Eos to hand, and Archivist of Ogma will trigger. Now actually in combat, Aaron will hit Sam for 3 with Storm, and then the turn is passed to Jason. He'll start off with a Flooded Strand as land for turn, and then he'll cast a Dauntless Dismantler. And then he sorcery speeds his own Archivist of Ogma. And then the turn is passed to Sethicus. He'll start his turn off with a Savannah, and then he'll cast his Ranger Captain of Eos. 1 is paid, Birds is found, and Archivists are triggered. He'll then cast the birds and pass the turn to Sam. But on instep, Sam will stop and cast an Eladamri's Call, and he pays for both Jason and Seth's 1. Once those 1s are paid, Jason will then miscast the Eladamri's Call, countering it. Then we'll move to Sam's turn. He'll start off by casting the Jolly Balloon Man. 1 of the mana was gotten from DRS, exiling Aaron's Bloodstained Mire. Then the turn is passed. And Aaron starts off by tapping his Talisman to Wild Growth his Taiga, and he pays for both taxes. He'll then move to combat and hit Jason with Storm, and then post-combat he drops a Price of Progress that gets copied. 1 is paid, and then Jason responds by fetching. He finds himself a Snow Island, so this net saves him 1 life. And there's an Archivist trigger. And then when both resolve, Aaron takes a total of 8, Jason 12, Seth 16, and Sam 12. Alright, that's some pretty big damage. The turn is now passed to Jason, and he'll start off with a Scheming Fence. It resolves, and the chosen creature on ETB is Ranger Captain of Eos. And then the turn is passed. Seth's land for turn is a Scrubland. Then he'll cast a Diabolic Intent, sacrificing his bird. It resolves, card is tutored, and then Seth will pass the turn, where Sam will flash out Urtai Resurrected on instep, and he does pay the 1 thanks to that Guy's Cradle. It resolves, and ETB trigger will target Dauntless Dismantler. Giver of Runes is tapped to give it pro black, so it lives. And then we'll move to Sam's turn. First thing he does is play a Volcanic Island, and then he'll cast a Fire Covenant. 11 life is paid as the additional cost to try to kill Storm, Dauntless Dismantler, Archivist of Ogma, and Esper Sentinel. Jason has a response in Blur to exile his Dauntless Dismantler, and then the Fire Covenant resolves. After this, Sam will cast Derevi. ETB untaps Gaia's Cradle, then he'll cast a Delighted Halfling. And Rhystic Study will be paid for both of these spells. Deathrite Shaman is tapped for a white by exiling Jason's Flooded Strand, and then Sisay is cast. After this, Gaia's Cradle is tapped for 9 mana, and then Balloon Boy is activated. Its copy is Delighted Halfling, and thanks to it having haste, he's able to cast an uncounterable Chromatic Ori. And he does pay the 1. Aaron has first priority, and he's got something that doesn't counter, a Mindbreak Trap. Sam responds to that with a Deflecting Swat, though. And then Jason Flusterstorms the Swat. Including the original, there's 9 of them. Yeah, that doesn't get paid, so it's countered. And then the Ori gets exiled. With nothing left to do on his turn, Sam will pass the turn to Aaron. The first thing Aaron does is activate Harrier Strix, and the Talisman is tapped for a blue. So a card is drawn, Mystical Tutor is discarded, and then the turn is passed to Jason. And he'll start off with an Urza Saga. Then he'll drop a Chrome Mox, and the imprint is Enlightened Tutor. He then slams a Hullbreaker Horror. This is only his 3rd spell, so Sam's Mindbreak Trap that we've known about for a while can't do anything about this. So priority passes, and it resolves. Then Jason will cast a Mox Amber. Hullbreaker Horror will trigger, and he targets his Soul Ring. This is threatening infinite mana. Aaron says he wants to respond first with a Retraction Helix on his Harrier Strix. And he does pay the 1. Strix is then activated to attempt to bounce the Hullbreaker Horror, but Giver of Runes is activated to give it pro blue. Seth responds to this by casting Intuition. He targets Aaron, and he does pay the 1. It resolves, so the 3 tutored cards are Swords to Plowshares, Underworld Breach, and Savine's Reclamation. Oh, that's scary in itself. But Jason's stuff kinda keeps that at bay. Aaron gives him the swords, and Seth will obviously cast that, targeting the Hullbreaker Horror. Oh yeah, Archivist trigger. And it resolves, so it's exiled. Then the Soul Ring is bounced to Jason's hand, the Mox Amber resolves, and then he'll just pass the turn to Seth. Jason will discard Polywog Prodigy, Addarkar Wastes, and touch the Spirit Realm on cleanup. Alright, on Seth's turn, he'll play a Trop as land for turn. Then he drops an absolute gas card in Culling Ritual. Priority passes around the table, and Jason decides to activate his version of Ranger Captain. Then Seth responds with a Final Fortune. 1 is paid. It resolves, and he'll get an extra turn. Priority passes for the Culling Ritual again, and Aaron decides to Flusterstorm it, and he does pay the 1. Oh, if only they knew what we knew about Seth's opening hand. He'll pass to his next turn, where he immediately cracks Ranger Captain. Then he'll play City of Brass's land for turn, and then he'll slam Thassa's Oracle. It resolves, and in response to its ETB, he'll cast Demonic Consultation. This also resolves, and he names Torrential Gearhulk. So his deck is exiled, and then the Thassa's Oracle trigger will resolve, and Seth gets hyped, because he won! Congratulations to Seth and Najeela. Alright, welcome to the end of the video, everybody. It's been some time since we played cEDH on the channel, so I'm glad we got to rock some more, especially with you guys at Holding Priority. Both Seth and Jason told me they had a great time playing with you guys, so thank you so much for playing with us. To all you viewers, there will be a pinned comment down below, should be the very top one, with links to their content. Check them out. Don't forget to check out all of ours as well if you haven't already. But that's enough out of me for today. I hope you all have a smooth day.